Hello and welcome to e-GMAT. We will solve question number 81 of OG Verbal 2nd edition by using e-GMAT 3-step process. In the first step, we will understand the meaning of the sentence. In the second, we will evaluate the errors in the sentence. And finally, we will review all the answer choices to get to the correct answer. So let's begin. Since 1986, when the Department of Labor began to allow investment officers' fees to be based on how the funds they manage perform, several corporations began paying their investment advisors a small basic fee with a contract promising higher fees if the managers perform well. This sentence presents a few facts. It says that in 1986, the Labor Department began to allow fees of investment officers to be based on how the funds these officers manage perform. Since then, many corporations have started to pay their investment advisors a small basic fee along with a contract that says if the managers perform well, they will get higher fees. Now let us evaluate the errors by splitting this sentence into its clauses. So here comes the first one. Since 1986, well, presence of when brings us to another clause that reads, when the Department of Labor began to allow investment officers' fees to be based on. Here the Department of Labor is the subject and began is the verb. Presence of how brings us to another clause that reads how the funds, well here the funds is the subject, but immediately after fund we have another subject verb pair, which means we have another clause that reads they manage. Here they is the subject and manage is the verb. What follows next is the continuation of the third clause, because in the first part we just had the subject. What appears here is the verb for that subject, which is perform. What follows perform is the continuation of the first clause, because in the beginning we just had since 1986. In this portion of the remaining clause, we have the subject and the verb and the remaining portion of the clause that reads, several corporations began paying their investment advisors a small basic fee with a contract promising higher fees. Here several corporations is the subject and began is the verb. What follows next is an if clause that reads, if the managers perform well. Here the managers is the subject and perform is the verb. Now, since in the beginning of the sentence suggests that several corporations started paying their investment advisors a small basic fee starting from 1986, and the trend continues till date. It is an action that started in the past and continues even in the present. Hence, use of simple past tense began is incorrect. It should be present perfect tense have begun. So we have a verb tense error here. Also, pronoun they should refer to investment officers. Since investment officers is in possessive case, it now seems to refer to fees. To make this reference grammatically correct, investment officers' fee must be changed to fees of investment officers. So right now in this sentence, presence of they brings in a pronoun error here. So these are the errors, and let us run the POE to find out what's the correct answer. Well, choice A is wrong as we discussed just now. Choice B is also incorrect because it has the same errors as in choice A. However, notice that this choice uses the phrase the performance of the funds instead of how their funds perform, which is more concise. Well, let's take a look at choice C now. Well, choice C is again incorrect because use of that clause is incorrect after allow. When we say that allow, we say that allow someone to do something. Let's take an example. The mother allowed the child to play. This is the correct sentence. If we say this as the mother allowed that the child can play, this is not correct structure. So allow is generally followed by to verb form. Hence use of that clause after allow is incorrect, and that makes choice C incorrect. Let's take a look at choice D now. Well, choice D is the correct answer, because now we have the correct phrasing here: investment officers to be based, fees of investment officers to be based, and the verb has been correctly changed to have begun. So D is the correct answer. Let's take a look at choice E now. Well, choice E is incorrect for two reasons. Firstly, it repeats the same verb tense error as in choice A. And secondly, it repeats the same that clause error after allow as in choice C. Hence, choice D is the correct answer, as we found out earlier. This brings us to the takeaway messages for this sentence. We must use correct verb tense to show the correct timeline of the events in the sentence. Also, every pronoun must have a clear antecedent. A possessive noun can only be referred by a possessive pronoun. Also, we must use idiomatic expressions to convey the meaning of the sentence in the most effective manner. The concepts tested in this sentence have been covered in e-GMAT concepts, level 1 verb tense and level 1 pronouns.